How to sell your house without a realtor in Florida. Hey folks, my name is Chris at Hauseit, based here in Miami, Florida. Today we're going to talk about this interesting topic, and we'll give you some simple steps you can take to begin the process of selling your home without a realtor, typically known as for sale by owner here in Florida, Miami, Broward County, Palm Beach, really anywhere here in Florida. The process is pretty straightforward, and you can utilize these tips nationwide as well. And we'll also explain in this video why it might make sense to not avoid realtors completely, why buyers of realtors especially are very important, and how to properly engage them when you're trying to sell by yourself. The first and most important step to selling your house by yourself is to make sure you price it accurately. This is extremely important, especially since you wouldn't be getting full exposure by doing a traditional for sale by owner route. Especially if you're listing it in, say, one or just a few sites like Craigslist or Zillow, you're going to get less exposure than listing it with a realtor on the MLS and the hundreds of websites that automatically syndicate from the MLS. So you'll need to really be on point with your pricing. The last thing you'll want to do is to list by yourself, not get full exposure, plus have the pricing be way too high, in which case it'll be ignored by the few real buyers that are looking directly by themselves. These are mostly going to be investors and more predatory buyers and vultures and stuff. The ones that do look then might just ignore your listing because they think it's unrealistic. They don't necessarily need or want to spend time negotiating with someone who they think might have an unrealistic selling price. We're just doing a pricing exercise. And then the people that inquire are mostly going to be essentially brokers looking to solicit you for their next listing. So that is a common problem of selling for sale by owner. One that can be solved, by the way, by listing with an agent-assisted FSBO through Hauseit, where we can list your property on your local MLS for a flat fee, as low as $95 here in South Florida. And it automatically syndicates from the Miami MLS or the Southeast Florida MLS to hundreds of third-party sites like Realtor.com, Homes.com, Zillow, Trulia, and such. And this way you get full exposure, you properly engage all buyers, brokers, and plus you get to receive all inquiries and manage the sale process yourself and still save all 6% if you find a direct buyer. But let's continue. The most important reason and why you should price your home correctly, however you decide to list it, is because price is perhaps the most important factor in marketing a property. I mean, things are usually pretty transparent these days, and most properties are online in one way or another. So it's usually very obvious to buyers and especially agents, what's priced correctly, what's overpriced. So especially if you're going to be trying to save some commission by doing it yourself, you might as well slightly underprice your competition, because that by far is going to get you the most traffic, is essentially a well-priced deal. So we recommend at least pricing it competitively or in line with comps, and ideally slightly below to get an edge on the competition, especially since you're going to be saving on the commission. The next step is to make sure you have proper marketing media and professional photos for your listing. We've unfortunately seen way too many for sale by owner listings, and even some traditional for sale by agent listings as well, where the photos are just completely amateurish. They wanted to save a couple $100 and decided not to go with professional photos. They took it with their cell phone, sometimes like an old flip phone or their grandmother's flip phone camera, and it's grainy, it's tilted, it's poor lighting. It's super cluttered. It's just, we'll show you some before and after for examples here of what our clients did by themselves, and then when they went with Hauseit's professional photography team, what the dramatic difference is. And it is very, very dramatic, because you have to think about it this way. Photos are the first thing that prospective buyers see. Oftentimes, it's showing the property in its best possible light, because most professionally marketed listings use professional photos. So it shows the property with the proper lighting. It's usually digitally enhanced, triple exposures and such. So it's what it looks like on its best day. However, if your first photo, and it's usually the first photo they see when they're scrolling through, is grainy, tilted, it's dark, there's clutter everywhere. I mean, it's just, if they see that, what are they supposed to think that it looks like in actuality? Like worse, if that's the best possible if that's what it looks like on its best day. So it really, you oftentimes only have one split second to attract the attention of a prospective buyer when they're scrolling through prospective listings. So it's really important to have professional photos, and more so we recommend getting a 2D floor plan and as well as a 3D tour. So all of these we provide through Hauseit. We don't usually see these quite often in the South Florida market, but hopefully it becomes more professionalized soon. You certainly can get this through our professional media packages on Hauseit.com. The third step in trying to sell your house without a realtor is to make sure you properly engage buyers brokers. Now, if you're trying to sell it yourself, there's not going to be many avenues to do so, because the most you can write perhaps is willing to pay 3% to a buyer's broker on your property description, on your Zillow or Craigslist listing, or your yard sign or something. But again, this isn't very effective. It's not contractual at all. Buyer's brokers have no idea who you are. They've never worked with you. They only know that you're a FSBO seller, so presumably you're trying to get out of the commission in the first place. And keep in mind, these buyer's brokers don't almost never have exclusivity agreements with buyers, their clients, in hot metro areas like Miami or New York. So there's nothing tying their buyer clients to them. So if they do something as stupid as even sharing the address of a for sale by owner listing to their client, their client could conceivably Google the address, find out very quickly that it's for sale by owner, and then go direct to the owner and just cut out their buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent would have lost an opportunity to earn 3%. So this is why buyer's brokers basically never show FSBO listings, unless perhaps they have an exclusivity agreement to protect them, and this is the last listing on earth. There's no other comparable inventory, and then they have to negotiate a custom commission agreement with that FSBO seller to make sure they're protected before they show the listing. It gets very complicated, especially if there's back and forth contract negotiations. I mean, why would they do this when they can show any listing on the MLS, which covers 96% plus of all possible listings out there usually, and none of these require any sort of contracts. It's automatic co-broking or splitting of commission between brokers on the MLS, which is why it's so powerful. So this is why we highly encourage you, if you're choosing to go your own route, to consider a flat fee MLS listing, also known as a Hauseit agent assisted FSBO listing, where you pay a small flat fee, you get your property properly listed, just like as if you would have paid 6% to a traditional agent or any other broker. And then you get the inquiries yourself, passed on to you automatically. You handle the inquiries, schedule the showings and such, and you get to save all 6% if you find a direct buyer. The last tip we have for how to sell your house without a realtor is to make sure you're available for showings. It's almost surprising we have to say this, but we've met too many for sale by owner sellers. Before they come to us, they share stories of, hey, well, I'm quite busy with work and such, and I have a busy social calendar, and they don't prioritize the showings that come through, the few showings that they do get through the for sale by owner process on their own. And they say, hey, well, this week doesn't work for me. How about next week at Tuesday, where I have a lunch today, I can't do it, or I'm at work, and they push it off. And the problem with that is, each potential showing or inquiry is potentially the buyer that actually ends up closing on your property. So it's extremely important to make yourself available to accommodate every single possible showing. We can't emphasize this enough. If you don't have time for it, then we wouldn't recommend even our agent-assisted FSBO listing service, because that presumes that you'll be able to make the showings as well, in which case we would recommend our 1% for full service listing option, where one of our agents can handle everything for you for a 1% listing fee. And again, we cover all of New York City, Long Island, and the Hudson Valley. In Miami-Dade County, where we're based today, we cover Miami-Dade County, Broward, Palm Beach, Martin, and St. Lucie counties. My name is Chris at Hauseit, and we'll see you on the next one.